jungle. We put resources into them. LGD, not exactly having that type of player yet. Fearness has stepped up in some games and has been able to put up the pressure. Can he do it here today, though?
Well, let's see how it all pans out for our first game of the night. We got Weibo Gaming on the blue side, banning away Tom Kench, Hecarim, and Rise. LGD on the red side this time around. Gwen, Zeri, and TF ban away that Rise and TF presence since the patch. Jinx, tried and true, locked in first pick for Weibo.
Yeah, it seems like we have 3 first picks right now, which is Zeri. If it's open, then, you know, between Gwen and Jinx, Jinx being the only one of those left open, makes sense she's first pick. Now, Lee Sin locked in right away for Shadow. Not going to be a surprise to anyone who has followed this guy since his day on the Mad Lions. And then the Aphelios, the other expected answer. This is where we're going to start seeing more flavor in the draft in terms of what Weibo want to respond with. Xin Zhao is obviously always a tried and true pick. But for Weibo, they've been one of the teams more willing to lead jungle to second rotation and like bring out spicier picks that do just round out their draft well. I think the other pick you would typically see here is something like a Nautilus come out in the support role. It's been by far our most played champion, and there it is.
Big Brain Lyric strikes again. We did get the Diego for SOFM, so going with the skirmish heavy jungler into the response of Lee Sin for Shadow. See what the final pick of the first phase is for LGD. Would expect it to be more engaged, right? Make sure you can't get more of those supports banned away from Xin Zhao. We'll see if that wants to be the case, though, because I feel like if you're going to set yourself up, you're going to need some of that forward pressure, especially with the fact that Shadow is going on the Lee Sin. So Leona is the answer.
Yeah, now I think we're going to be looking at potential mid laners being targeted. For LGD, I really think you do leave that counter pick up towards top lane, unless they decide to do the old reliable of, hey, let's just pick Fearness Ornn. But I feel like for LGD, they have looked a bit better when Fearness is put on carries. So for LGD, maybe we see that. Blind pick mid laners still left open, right? Ahri, obviously the standout. We've been seeing so much of her since the 12.4 patch has come on, as we apparently either have a no ban or maybe just a graphic error, Mazel.
Yeah, maybe we'll get an update on that. And when we do, we will let you know. Or maybe LGD just gets the ban. Camille is the ban away from Weibo in their second phase, though. So definitely putting some more focus on Fearness. Maybe trying to corner him onto that Ornn pick, which honestly is not that terrifying because Fearness is very scary on the Ornn, right? So LGD are perfectly fine being backed into that corner, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think the Shroud would feel fine with us just going to hit on the Gnar being probably his go-to pick if the Ornn just come out. But that now being taken away. The Shy getting pushed a little bit further down his pool. We haven't seen the Shy, right, willing to pick up the Scion. He's brought out the Gragas. Graves still being a champion that is left open. As Weibo take away the LeBlanc. Again, my eyes still do gravitate towards the Ahri. Orianna, I guess, still being another champion that we've seen gone to consistently as a blind pick even on this patch. But there's been a lot more about the Ahris, the Vexes, the LeBlancs, these champions that can guarantee you early mid-prio. It's been a lot more heavily about the mid-jungle 2v2 coming on through.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I want to see something mobile in the mid lane. And guess what? We get it. Because we get the Vex. Oh, man, this is so exciting. I haven't gotten to cast the Vex in so long. Just feels like never is a priority. But here, LGD say, Jay, you got the tools.
Yeah, we have certain mid laners who gravitate towards the right. Xiaohu being a big one. Knight has been going back to it in recent times. Rookie was one of the early adopters of the best Vex pick. Now for the side of Weibo, we already hit on the Shy, his go-to being the Graves, if the Gwen and Gnar have been off the table in recent weeks. So having that top lane carry now going to need to round out with some AP damage. I think Syndra's always an option. Again, we already hit on the Ahri. Looks like they might be hovering the Galio. I don't think you have a lot of great ways of bringing him into the backline. You do run Predator, so can just look to engage for yourself if you want to go with that one. And it aligns with Weibo's style, right? Playing to your jungler, as we showed, in terms of the jungle proximity.
Let's go! That's an Angel Zillion?
We can see the laughter coming from his face, but I gotta say, this isn't too crazy for Angel.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Weibo and Stooning over the past few years, Angel has been one of the mid laners more willing to kind of go down into more niche picks. He was a big Seraphine player when that came out. He was willing to bring out things like the Malzahar last year, the Kassadin, all of these specialties. Zillion has been extremely strong in solo queue lately for a lot of top challenger players. Yeah. Now we're going to see how Angel maneuvers it. And again, how he enables the likes of SOFM and Huanfeng in these team fights.
We did get the final pick from LGD. It was the Akali. So double AP solo laners for LGD going into this first game. Just trying to find a way to kill this team, which will need to be done. Feels like it does get a little bit terrifying when you get the extra life there from Angel on the Zillion. So very interesting first game from Weibo. Obviously feels like they got a lot of the tried and true pieces. They like obviously the comfort for the Shy, but now it means that there's that much more volatility in the top side. That matchup that we wanted to put so much focus on is now a Graves versus an Akali.
Yeah, but still, despite the fact, right, that typically like picking AP champions into Graves is fine because a lot of your value does come from the armor resistances that you do get from your passive. So, you know, again, theoretically, you can see what he's going for there, but still, Graves is going to have prio in the lane. He's going to be able to push freely, should be able to outtrade early on. So I think the Shy will be fine. A lot of this is going to come down to the early skirmishes that I feel like LGD need to find, because in the late game, it's only going to do so much to shut down the double assassin threat coming from LGD. And the fact that you can just very easily itemize MR against this composition. You have a ton of DPS, and Weibo looking for those big 5v5s.
Indeed, as I'm so excited because we are getting onto the Rift, the first match of the night. LGD taking on Weibo Gaming. The name of the game in this series is exploitation. Can LGD exploit SOFM? Can Weibo exploit the aggressiveness for LGD? We'll find out after this first game kicks off and we hit Summoner's Rift. All too exciting. Oh man, what a beautiful skyscape as well. Always love the LGD background, getting to see the field advantage, I guess, for themselves. But here we are, Lyric, onto the Rift with no spiciness, just a little bit of vision gain.
Yeah, no cheeky level ones coming out this time around, and kind of going back and hitting on comps more holistically, right? For LGD, I really feel like the name of the game is going to be mid-game skirmishes coming through, especially around their top side. The amount of mobility, the amount of burst that you have, LGD should be feeling really good about early 2v2s or 3v3s around their top and mid with jungle. For Weibo, if you can kind of stem some of that aggression early game, get to mid-game where you are just going for these objective fights, again, they have a ton more DPS coming through. Fearness or Jay having to commit their full combo to try and assassinate someone, then Angel's ult just outright disrupts that. You have a very easy time itemizing MR when a massive amount of their damage is going to be AP. I feel like for Weibo, they should feel good if this game does go even, or even if they're slightly behind going into the mid-game.
And setting up those win conditions is obviously so important, and I want to give that little bit of a dive into that jungle matchup a little bit more, because something we have seen from Shadow are those constant invades, the unique pathing, obviously on the Lee Sin that we see in all of LPL junglers pretty much. But it's that consistent, usually, you know, level 3, level 4 invade that Shadow will try to attempt. See if he changes that a little bit and goes away from that super early aggression, as Sword Art and Huanfeng definitely not going away from that early aggression. They've already gotten a couple good engages. Sword Art just feeling out the dredge lines here.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how Sword Art ends up playing the game, tying it into jungle, right? Because one of the great things about Suning when Sword Art was on the roster was it felt like he worked much better around SOFM. I remember back in 2020, Clement always saying, hey, Sword Art is a lot more... Sword Art and SOFM are the dual lane of Suning. It's not Huanfeng and Sword Art. So we'll see if Sword Art brings that back once again of playing much more for jungle than he did for his 2v2 lane.
And on the Nautilus, feels like that is definitely a possibility. Gonna have to keep looking out on the roams. As, speaking of roams, Sword Out already on his first, going up towards the mid lane as the wave pressure, a little bit too heavy for Angel there. So we will see that first movement, as also seeing SOFM go for that unique pathing we were talking about, but this on the Viego, stealing away Shadow's camps.
Yeah, so you were hitting on counter jungling coming on earlier through. Both these junglers really do love to go for this. This is why we hit on that for SOFM. It has never really been too lane centric. It is about these invades. It is about putting the enemy jungler behind, putting yourself ahead. He's going to go back to his jungle, still have almost his whole bot side to clear out. There's still Scuttle Crab sitting right there. And as expected, right, lanes so far going in favor of Weibo. You see Graves winning out on top side. Zillion won't be able to garner any lane prio or pressure in the mid lane matchup, but should be extremely hard for Vex to poke him down or annoy him. stand back. You always have the option of destroying the double bombs. Then bot lane's going to be a wash. We've seen this. We see this matchup literally every day, at least 6 times in a row, Mazel.
Yeah.
It is what it, Nautilus versus Leona, the tried and true of the LPL.
Exactly. It just feels like bread and butter at this point. Can I just say, feels bad for Shadow, man. He was looking for like a little bit of unique pathing, realizes he would have to go to the bottom side of the map, and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go to my blue side, see what's left. There was literally nothing left for him. So SOFM definitely getting the better of the early pathing in the jungle matchup there, but it is all about the volatility as we get to level 6 marks, and especially where we see Jay combining with Jin Zhao and Shadow.
Right now, just going to try and take back some of this vision. They could look to try and wrap around and maybe make something happen on bot side. Obviously, Weibo's bot lane knows they're here. They just spotted them out killing a ward, so they shouldn't fall prey to any ganks. Looks like Shadow just trying to find some camps back after SOFM did completely cannibalize his jungle.
He got the Krugs, okay? He's walking away with something. He's got pocket change. As SOFM clears his whole blue side of the jungle, it's going to be pathing back towards bottom, which sets up Weibo for the first dragon if they want to go for it, as timings for them will be perfect, and LGD kind of pathing away from that bottom lane here.
Yeah, they're going to have to be careful, though. So we see on the mini-map, right now, Sword Art actually running into Shadow. You don't typically see teams risk going for dragons this early on, right? Especially when you don't really have any deep vision in the enemy jungle. You have no idea where SOFM is. Your mid laner was on a reset. Even though, sure, he had TP, Angel would be very easily able to follow up. So I think good choice by LGD not going for that one. Still just going to see them default back to this early farm setup. And even though we hit on for LGD, right, that it would be a lot about early skirmishing around top side, you don't really have any great setup until the level 6 mark, and potentially just Shadow showing up to lane, utilizing the kick, and then locking someone in place long enough to guarantee your Q hitting, and then potentially Fearness or Jay being able to follow up with their burst. So seems like for LGD waiting for that level 6 mark is Jin Zhao going to say hi to SOFM, but they won't be able to respond.
They're trying to put some emergency bandages on Shadow's pathing, because at this point, SOFM has the entire upper hand here. He is dictating a lot of Shadow's pathing in this early one. And that's not what you want on the Lee Sin. That's something we highlighted into this one. Both these junglers are going to have to be self-sustaining, are going to have to find, their own advantages to some extent. And Shadow just getting taken advantage of. Exploited, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the CS advantage in jungle right now, right? About 20 ahead for the side of SOFM, so like 5 camps up for the Viego. Especially when Viego's going to be the champion that should be able to find much better use in the mid game as compared to the Lee Sin, right? Sure, you'll always be valuable in the game as Lee Sin, having opportunities to look for the kicks, but just the fact that SOFM can so easily look for these resets. And now level 6, right? Angel can have his ultimate available to him as well. Try and enable him. And for Shadow, now we're getting to the point of like, hey, you can start looking for these ganks. I think Angel's been playing pretty respectfully, because that would probably be your easiest gank opportunity. Go on to the Zillion, who is immobile, try and burn those summoners, make him pop his ultimate at least, and then you can pivot that into an objective fight where Zillion now doesn't have his ult up. So maybe for the side of LGD, that's what you're looking at. Rift Herald's coming up soon. Try and set up a mid gank before that happens. Force Angel to blow his ultimate, go into the fight in an advantageous position.
Yeah, and it's so funny to me. We were talking about a little bit about volatility and stuff going into this one. And we've had a very quiet game, but the volatility has been in that jungle matchup, right? And seeing SOFM just kind of control the state of the map. But it's not been a bloody one. It's not been those big skirmishes just yet. Although we all know that's going to change.
Get one.
As, SOFM still looking for that aggression. Shadow sees him on the entrance. We'll be bringing Fearness down as well. Red buff goes over to Shadow, and now SOFM needs to get out. Blastcone brings him away, and the Heartbreaker over the wall brings him to the Shy, and now it's a 2v2. Shadow, not level 6 yet, though.
Yeah, so we're going to see it all pans out. Looks like Shadow was able to get his red buff, so nice Shadow, not losing another camp to the side of SOFM and making SOFM blow his ultimate, but still not going to be able to find any more. Fearness' ultimate also down. Feels like it could be a massive one. Maybe that's what's giving SOFM the confidence to start up this Herald. He also did see that Shadow was only level 5 the last time they spotted each other. Will hit level 6 now off those Krugs.
Yeah, and Rift Herald going over to Weibo Gaming themselves, taking the first neutral objective of the game. No 5v5 fights, just a slow and steady takeover by Weibo Gaming.
And this is exactly the pace that Weibo want, right? This is what we were hitting on before, that if everything goes calm, if everything's in a neutral state for the side of Weibo, they should just be favored. Now for SOFM, going to make his way towards the bottom side. Scuttles up, all of your bot camps are up. You can look to give your bot lane a bit of confidence to go for the push because they know they have cover coming from mid jungle. So definitely a plethora of options open for Weibo.
Man, Shadow can't take a break, can't catch a break. He finally got to level 6, and then SOFM gets the free level from Angel. Feels bad, man. But hey, that is the combination, and that is the buff that you get. See, we're getting a little bit more jungle proximity because Angel has to go use the XP on SOFM. It's all about the synergy, Lyric.
No, if there's one thing that I feel like has defined Angel and SOFM as a duo, synergy.
Synergy.
maybe not the word. Well, then again, I feel like it's come and gone in waves. I feel like there's been some metas, some points in time where you look at Weibo, you look at SOFM and Angel, like, my God, they're playing so well together. Then there's definitely been points where, like, hey, there isn't as much link up. You aren't really seeing them play too much around each other. But again, with Sorter back on the roster, maybe we will see more of that. Is for Weibo, it's kind of just been a stroll in the park so far. You're getting your vision down, you got Herald, you're getting Dragon. LGD still not trying to answer. It's like, even if you can't find a gank window in mid, right? Like, through all the times we've seen, the wave has been pretty much neutral in mid almost every time we've panned over it. You can still maybe just lean as Shadow, look to get pressure right, and then try and pivot that to a side. The Shy has been pretty much non-stop pushing in that top lane all game long, but I feel like LGD right now, respecting too much of things potentially being able to go wrong, right? Of you leaning over to mid, you're falling behind in jungle, you go for the play top, you don't find it, and it's like, well, you just wasted so much time, but right now you're just bleeding out slowly.
Yeah, it just feels like, to me, they got behind the timing window, and because Weibo haven't really made any false steps or any mistakes to that extent, they just have never been able to catch up, right? The back, you're always seeing Shadow is backing or coming out of base as SOFM is taking objectives and things along those lines. So it just seems like LGD were never able to keep up with the pace, at least thus far, 11 minutes in, to what Weibo has been bringing. Obviously, that can change once we get to those team fights in the AoE that's going to be coming down.
Look, so Weibo Gaming are like your standard jasmine green milk tea with the egg custard pudding.
Ooh.
Super delicious. They know exactly what they're doing. Everything is calm and controlled, and you're just having a great day sipping on that. LGD are like your standard, black milk tea with boba. Highly overrated in most situations, just waiting for the moment to pop off, which might be now, Gazelle.
I'm getting a whole new realization of boba. I love it. But it is an actuality there. They were trying to get something to the top lane, will not come to fruition, and now is Weibo looking at bottom lane, having used the Rift Herald, and SOFM continuing to be aggressive into Shadow's jungle.
Yeah, we're going to see Eric and Jinzhao stick around, so they're not too concerned about being dove because you look at Jay right now. Jay hovering towards the bottom side, Shadow also making his way down here, so they shouldn't be too afraid. If anything, Jay and Shadow might look for a window on Angel, but no, not even deciding to look for that.
4 plays.
And I also, Mazel, just to add, the whole point of that boba, extremely overrated. Coconut jelly, great topping. Egg custard pudding, great topping.
Okay.
Boba, it's all right.
Okay. Well, what about mix and matching, huh? Why don't you broaden your horizons a little bit? Why don't you put some boba with the egg custard pudding, huh?
The thing is, once you mix and match too many toppings, it becomes more like a meal than it is a drink, which I feel like
but then
makes
that's making it more.
Enjoyable.
It's making it easier. As esports people, we're always on the go. Just shove as many things as you can into the drink to make a meal on the go. I think that's perfect. I think Willy Wonka tried to do that or something.
How did Willy Wonka end, Mazel?
It didn't end very well. I will say that. But talking about this game a little bit more, which has still been a bit of a snooze fest in LPL terms, under Weibo's complete and utter macro domination in the early game at least, it's still something that LGD are only within 2,000. They're only 2,000 deficit, and they still have the strengths that come in the late game, right? I feel like even though we were talking about how Weibo Gaming are comfortable letting this game kind of play out the way it is, LGD do also have a lot of strength in the later games, and especially as you were kind of mentioning at the beginning of this day, Eric has become a centerpiece in late game team fights.
I feel like the problem is for LGD, if they're going to find wins in the late game, it's going to come through one of two ways. One is either going to be like side lane picks of Shadow and Fearness just playing together and trying to catch Shy off, who now has a hull breaker, so will be extremely annoying and hard to take down. Or your second option is going to be just outright looking for picks, finding the flank, and Fearness and Jay coordinating and being able to burst someone outright. Is Jinzhao going for an engage?
That was a solar flare used by Jinzhao. It did actually connect, and the cleanse got burned by Huanfeng. So a bit of aggression coming out of the LGD bot lane as Shadow was making his way there.
And it seems like LGD are finally hitting the point of where they're like, hey, like we're hitting 15 minutes and we still haven't been able to make anything happen with the comp that we put together. We need to start pushing the accelerate button. We need to start trying to find some of these kills, because now we're at a point, right? Level 11 for Angel. I mean, he could pretty much QWQ. The wave is gone.
Yeah.
And he could just look to constantly hover for SOFM, Shadow down towards this bottom side. They're extremely close to taking this turret, but second Rift Herald about to come up. So right now we do see both teams just kind of hovering around the mid lane.
Oh, so it was a Graviton actually connecting the first piece to force Huanfeng to get into the solar flare to also burn that cleanse. So I wonder if that does come back to bite Huanfeng. Does have a lot of safety, at least with the amount of peel back that Weibo Gaming have chosen for themselves. Oh, the Winions! Oh my god, they're getting both towers on both sides at the same time. First tower will go down. Second tower will also go down for Weibo.
And we've seen the Shy's situation, right? Pretty much just be how you'd expect the lane matchup to go with no real jungle intervention or mid lane intervention coming from LGD side. Shy been able to dominate in that 1v1. But Huanfeng sort of coming out ahead, greatly helped by SOFM, his invades, him getting information. We saw him and Angel leaning towards bot a few times, allowing for them to find, you know, a little bit of CS lead and pushing down that turret. So sure, they lose Herald, but Weibo got more than what you should expect LGD to be able to get off of this Herald play. Heck, none of Weibo's turrets are even low.
Yeah, they aren't, unfortunately, for LGD, but it is still LGD's first neutral objective. So they got something on the board here. They are still losing by about 3,000 gold in that passive difference, especially coming out of that top lane difference and the jungle. We'll see Huanfeng utilize the Gale Force. The beauty that is this item for ADCs, because you no longer just have to flash, all right?
Ooh, Fearness. Not going to be as cheeky as we'd like. As we see both teams again playing around towards his top side. Right now, Angel's answering waves in bot. Doesn't have the TP, does have instilled spellbook, so not sure if he's on a timer where he could change it right now, but you're going to see Weibo actually aren't going to aggressively push into enemy river. And it's just timings like these, right, where for LGD, I'm surprised you don't feel more confident pushing into river and top side, contesting for vision, putting some threat on the Shy so he can't push out this top wave when Angel is showing just pushing bot to tier 2 turret.
Just such an interesting state of the game, and we're right on the edge of getting a big engagement. Speaking of, SOFM gets attacked by Shadow here. Might get caught out as Heartbreaker has to come through. Dragon Rage kick was at the ready if SOFM didn't get out of there.
Yeah, so now no ultimate on SOFM. They've been hovering around mid wanting to drop Herald. But 3 members here now, maybe this is your timing, knowing, hey, Viego won't be able to fight us. Sora and Angel, though, are waiting for it.
Oh no, Shadow. Oh no, Shadow. Oh, he knew. He still doesn't get out. The double bomb does connect, but Shadow will make it away. TP from Weibo just in case things got a little bit too finicky for them. But Shadow probably got a couple years just taken off his life there.
Yeah, Shadow immediately having to go for the reset. LGD were the ones angling for a play. They were the ones looking for a timer to drop the Herald, but Angel just completely axing that plan. SOFM now halfway through his ultimate cooldown, 45 seconds on that one.
Shadow using the Hex Gate to get back, though, and LGD want to go for it. This is the play they decide to go for. The Shy is on the side here as well. As LGD sees that happening, they back away from the fight.
Yeah, and even though, you know, the Shy walking up, killing the ward, I think it's better that the Shy showed for the fact of just immediately LGD having to disengage and knowing, hey, we're not going too far forward. We're not over-aggressing, going to be in a numbers disadvantage situation. Fearness does have TP if anything did break out, but just the extra, let's say, 5 seconds the Shy would have in the fight, I feel like could have been monstrous for the side of Weibo. And Mazel, we're going to default back to the good old 1-3-1, zillion grave side lanes, catching waves, stealing jungle camps, 208 CS the Shy, 208 CS Huanfeng.
It's actually dirty how high their CS numbers are in this game. It's just been a constant thing.
18 minutes and 30 seconds. The Shy is at 215.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But also the fact that, I mean, maybe that is a symptom or a reasoning for it is the fact that, you know, we're 0 kills at almost 20 minutes into an LPL game. not the norm here, as SOFM wants to make that different. So Sword Art almost connected the dredge line, but as I said, Gale Force, the most busted item for ADCs in 2022.
I do gotta say though, talking about ADCs with items, the Shy now picking up the Immortal Shield Bow is pretty much at the point where, heck, even if LGD do dedicate 2 members to trying to find a pick on the Shy in a side lane, I mean, he probably stalls enough time for another member of Weibo to be able to follow up, and for Weibo to be able to turn that fight. So I think another kind of potential window from LGD not taken earlier is going to come back and harm them. They might be able to take mid lane turret off this.
They do, and they also take the fight. SOFM, is he going to be first blood? It looks like it's true. No, not yet, but now it will be him going down after the Dragon Rage kick from Shadow. Fearness TPing into the fight just in case. The double bomb connects onto Shadow, collateral damage as well, and the damage from Angel's bomb follows it up. Now the Shy's going forward, doesn't hit the end of the line as Jin Zhao goes golden, and Fearness is now in deep, but he's got the bombs on him. He goes in for the perfect execution, gets traded down, and now Huanfeng is on fire. He's excited. He's picking up kills left and right. He's flashing forward. Jin Zhao's down, and now Jay is going to die to a quadra kill to Huanfeng.
Huanfeng completely stepping up in that fight. I do feel like Eric on the opposite end, sticking around for that Nautilus kill was not worth it, my man. 4-0 Jinx now. Huanfeng gonna get some damage on this turret. Dragon's up. You would expect Weibo can easily pivot to that one. And we're gonna see here, since they secure the mid lane turret with the Herald, they're gonna go for the dive instantly. Good amount of burst able to come down onto SOFM right away. Love Shadow re-engaging, getting the kick to make sure that kill is confirmed. And then here, the double bomb by Angel, so crucial to guarantee that the damage goes down. The Shy can get in the fight. The first bomb finishes him out. Jin Zhao gonna be able to survive here at first, and Fearness saying, hey, the Shy's low, I want to be able to follow up on this kill. But again, Immortal Shield Bow on the Graves. He is so tanky and sword to bring down. He follows through, and Eric waiting for that last kill on the Nautilus. Feel like it was a little bit of a bait. We see Huanfeng able to take advantage, get another kill off that. Get excited, pick up a bunch of kills. As Dragon did get taken while we were in that replay. Weibo now sitting on Soul Point.
Can I also just say that Chrono Shift, I called it going golden, right? Because it's a little bit hard to see. Things are pixels on my end. But the fact that Chrono Shift made such a difference there for SOFM, buying so much time and forcing LGD into one of those predicaments that we talked about at the beginning of the series. The fact that they always overextend. They're always too aggressive. And it comes back to bite them. And now Huanfeng, after having 0 kills in 20 minutes of the game, we are on fire here, and they want to keep on going. Weibo taking the fight after everything. Jin Zhao almost down, but doesn't go down. Shadow Surge is not available any longer, but the Mega Death Rocket is, and Huanfeng picks up his 5th kill of the game. What a resurgence, what a surge at least that Weibo have done. They were fine hanging out, and now they are going for the throat of LGD.
Well, and it just happened exactly as we said what would happen if the game went neutral, right? That Weibo would take over. When you just allow a zillion Jinx Viego to get a free pass in the early game, I don't know what much more you can expect other than what Weibo have been able to do. You highlighted, I mean, right, even if you don't get a ton of value out of the Zillion ultimate in terms of you just outright revive someone, then they pop off, even just the amount of time and cooldowns you buy from the enemy team of them having to put so much into taking someone down twice. Again, it bought time for the Shy to get in that fight, come in, burst some members out. Angel find the double bomb. So LGD now in a position where they pretty much are relying on picks, either cheeky brush plays or Weibo making mistakes. We're going to see here, they felt confident looking for this play. What is pretty much a 4v4, but no TP on Urikali. The Shy able to follow up. We see Huanfeng with the rocket and the collateral damage coming out from the Shy, guaranteeing that last kill. Numbers advantage did make the difference.
It absolutely did. And, you know, LGD have found themselves 3 kills in this one, but it still has felt really one-sided. Now Shadow wants to try to find something, tries for the kick on a Huanfeng. They have the Shadow Surge damage, but the Chrono Shift is there. That is what this composition does. You have a big Moonlight Vigil, and now the follow-up for the resets from Jay, who has the Shadow Surge, but will not follow it onto Sword Art under tower. All of a sudden, LGD strike back to the chagrin of Weibo Gaming.
And we were just saying the numbers advantage for the side of Weibo in the last fight. This time around, the Shy was answering the side lane, didn't have TP. Huanfeng stepping a bit too far forward. Heck, LGD picking up this Baron can completely change the dynamic of the game. SOFM is here. SOFM also does have Smite.
Yeah, he has Smite, he has Heartbreaker. The resets are available, and they'll get the Baron, but what about the fight? The Heartbreaker coming through, and he has been possessed. As Huanfeng is not in the fight, but you don't need Huanfeng. We got the Shy behind him. Jin Zhao goes for the engage onto him, but he's just going to die out right now. You got 3 members trying to get the quick back from the Baron buff. They're separated. They're just saying run for the hills, but the hills have eyes, baby. As Eric goes down, Jay is chased down, and Weibo Gaming are cleaning up the scraps of LGD.
Yeah, we're going to see Weibo able to take away 4 of the Barons from the side of LGD. Shadow should be able to get out of this alive, so at least 1 Baron for your side. The fact that Weibo were able to completely tear it apart in that team fight was huge. Sort of, I mean, they knew they were in that brush, right? But I think technically still hitting a blind hook onto Eric to guarantee that one. Shy wrapping around. And now, sure, you don't get the Baron, but we're going to see pretty decent negative gold Baron power play come out from LGD with this one.
1,400 gold right now. As the Shy feeling perfectly fine, taking in this 1v1, but what about a 1v2? Fearness is about to just die. Does he get the 1v1? He goes gold, and Jin Zhao is here with the Solar Flare, but Fearness wants to finish it off. Shadow is chasing him down. I don't think he can do it. I don't think the Shy can make it out of this alive. It's going to require a miracle, and here goes Shadow. The Shy trying to make a miracle worker out of himself. The Chrono Shift is there from Angel. TP is now coming down for LGD. They are desperate to make this fight happen. Mega Death Rocket goes wide. The Shy is still tanking up a storm, but he has lost his Hull Breaker stack, and it means his death. Shadow Surge goes wide, and now Weibo Gaming are into this one. Huanfeng is still here. Huanfeng is getting another kill. It's all part of the plan for Weibo. Just give over all the kills later on, and SOFM picks up his 3rd of the game.
And you know, you could see there that Weibo didn't initially plan on following up topside to help the Shy. But once Angel realized, hey, I'm actually decently close, I can go up there. Once again, I could buy time. You saw the other members of Weibo who were initially just sitting around Dragon waiting for that one to come up, start making their way top because they know they could go for that play.
Depth charge here as well, and it's Shadow's doom in the mid lane. Caught out in the back, and now it's the top side inhib that's going to be paying the price.
And I wonder if Weibo will look for an end here, play it safe, and go for the recall. They have 30 seconds on Shadow. Jay's about to come up, so it will be a 5v4.
They smell blood in the water here. Fearness needs to find something on the edge. Jin Zhao goes in. Moonlight Vigil is huge. Solar Flare is well utilized. They've used all their tools, and the Shy's onto Eric. Fearness is separating the fight here for himself, but the Shy is tanking up everybody, and now LGD start to fall one by one. Huanfeng's playing dominoes, and Wholesome Brother Gaming has come to town. Huanfeng and Sword Art, Weibo Gaming, they take game number 1 with heart.
Yeah, Weibo, they came out strong. They got the early game that they wanted, right? They didn't have to do too much. SOFM completely showing up and taking everything that Shadow had. That was all that Weibo needed. And hey, we talked about LGD as, you know, the dog pile, coming in, aggressive, wanting to look strong. But I feel like the owner of LGD bought them one of those cute little fluff